All right, here we go. We got the microphone. Happy Sunday. It's good to be back. I'm really looking to create these videos every single Sunday and just really do a weekly reflection of what I've learnt, what I've seen, what I've observed in management, in reps, in sales, in business and everything. So I think it's important to not just record this for myself, but record this for you guys to also see the lessons that I've learnt, okay? And there's something I want to touch on this Sunday, and it's really the three most things to be aware of and the three things to install into your reps in order to create inevitable success with a sales team. Okay, so something I was reflecting on during the week was, as a manager, it's so important to be aware. It's so important to not just go through the day-to-day motions without actually seeing and noticing the patterns of reps, but then also more importantly, the winning patterns of reps. Okay, I think as management, it's key to identify winning patterns, identify why they're winning patterns, and then continue to implement them as well. So that was something I reflected on, and then I realized I have to become more aware of what reps need in order to succeed. So these are almost the three things that I would install into a rep, or the three things I definitely would install into the rep in order to make sure they are set up for success. So let's dive into it. I'm going to reverse it. So the third thing, okay, so from least important to most important, right? So the third thing that I want to install into the rep, very simple, is a clear process, obviously on calls, and a clear process when it comes to operations, when it comes to systems, when it comes to pipeline management, okay? If your rep doesn't have a clear process to follow, if they can't just absolutely go through the script or the framework subconsciously, then you're already in trouble, okay? So it's so important that we consistently, as managers, install a clear process for the rep to follow that works for the offer, okay? So important, okay? So that's number three. I think that's... I think sometimes people focus too much on that, and I also think people focus not enough on that. I think I've been guilty of not focusing on it enough. So that's an area I personally have to improve as a manager. Now, the next two I think are even more important, in my opinion, as a manager. So the second one is state management. It is so important as a manager that you get your reps performing in the correct state, in the correct mindset, okay? So important, okay? When you jump on a call as a sales rep, you have to be a leader, you have to be present, you have to be aware, okay? And presence comes when everything outside of your sales life is dialed in, okay? When you're present outside of your life, you're going to be present on calls. Who you are off your sales calls is exactly who you are on your sales calls. So important to, as a manager, install the correct workflows for your reps, the correct mindset, okay, of how to get the maximum, or how to maximize calls and how to maximize opportunities. Excuse me, can't speak. So a daily routine, okay, making sure that they're starting their morning strong, even all the way breaking down to what they're eating throughout the day, what they consume their mind with, how they finish off the day as well. Something that I wanted to start to install into my reps is, and something I've seen work in the past, I'd say 2 weeks, is at the end of most evenings, probably every second evening, listening to 2 or 3 setting calls or 2 or 3 closing calls that led to a close, okay? Your best performing calls, okay? So it's so important. Sorry, in the morning you do that, and then in the evening you watch a bad call. So it's so important in the morning when you wake up as a rep, you listen to your good calls and you become instantly aware and you become instantly in the belief of, okay, I can close deals. I stuck to that clean structured process. I can absolutely fucking kill it, okay? So to recap that, third most important thing to install into a rep is a clear process on calls and off calls in terms of how to operate the pipeline. The second most important thing, in my opinion, is state management, making sure their mindset is absolutely dialed, making sure their outside life is as dialed as possible to ensure that when they're on calls, they're very present. And that's the key. Presence on call is always the key, okay? Now, the most important thing to install into a rep and for a rep to have in order to create success for yourself, for the company, for whoever's involved, themselves as well, obviously very important, is to install vision and conviction into them. Okay, now how do I mean by that? Maybe you've heard that before, okay? It is so vital that you install the vision that the rep's goals can be achieved with inside this specific role. Okay, if you don't have faith that you can achieve your goals in a specific role, you're never going to pour in as much as you possibly can. If I install the vision into you, if I create the vision that allows you to see exactly where you want to go with this specific offer, with this specific role, you will absolutely pour everything into it in order to get there. Obviously, I'll make sure you do, and that also ties to state management. Okay, but if you don't install that vision, if you don't install the conviction that you can actually achieve your goals as a rep on this offer or for this company, you're never going to succeed. Okay, so it's not just in the vision in terms of, and when I talk about conviction, okay, so first one's vision and then the second one's conviction. It's not conviction just in the offer. I think obviously it's vital. We all know that. Conviction just is so powerful, so powerful. When I truly speak about something that I'm passionate about or that I believe in, there's just a different level of conviction in my tonality compared to if I'm a little bit skeptical. Okay, so you never want to sell some bullshit, number one, to put that plain and simple. Okay, but it's not even conviction in the company that's important, it's conviction in themselves that they can actually achieve the vision in that company. Okay, so recapping, this is a really good video. So they're the three things that I want to install into a rep. Okay, clear, clean cut process. I want their management outside of calls or their state management to be absolutely dialed. And then when they're in the company, I want them to have the clear vision, the clear direction of exactly how they can achieve their goals and install 100% conviction that they can achieve that here. Okay, now I do that not, I don't do that and try and bullshit it. If it's not possible, it's not possible. That's why I have such alignment with my reps, is because I truly believe that if you come to me with certain goals, I can make sure that it's achievable within certain companies, and I'll get you inside that company and work with you until you achieve those goals. The three things there. I also want to add one note to kind of tie all this off, and that is something I've reflected on as a manager this week is, as a rep, I used to think there's nowhere you can hide. Okay, you have to always be, your life has to be dialed in. You have to be present on your calls. As a manager, there is truly no fucking way you can hide. Okay, you have to be so present. You have to be so giving. You have to be consistently so aware and almost sharp as a tack and on the ball consistently. That is, the moment you drop off, it will be seen and there'll be cracks and there'll be flaws everywhere. So if you're looking to step into management, or if you think management is this easy path, okay, that's the next step from closing. If you have flaws in your life, if you're truly not committed to your craft, they will get so heavily exposed within management that everything will come crashing down. So have great alignment with what you want to do. Believe and have 100% conviction in yourself, and install these three things into your reps, and the inevitable is bound to happen. Okay, so again, these are lessons that I've learned after back-to-back record weeks from our sales team, after a deep reflection of, okay, how did I allow the team to achieve that? And we're tracking for another record month, so back-to-back record months. I started at the company 2 months ago, record month, first month, second month, on track for another record month. So not too bad. Plenty of growth to be had, plenty of lessons to be continually learnt. But I wanted to share this today. More content to come. Like, freaking subscribe, do what you have to do. But this is going to get really serious. Let's do it.